G'day everybody. Alabar Jones here, leader and founder of the EarthGuard Astral Projection Group. Good to see you today. Thanks for stopping by. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have some very, very good news about demonkind, and it looks like they're going extinct, or at least they seem to think so, which is excellent news, and we have reason to believe them. But that's not the main event of this particular video. What we're looking at is the next project in cleaning up their machinations and their infrastructure, which, strangely enough, believe it or not, is the legal field. That all law is written, well, by beings who are controlled by these demons. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what we find out. But I'll share with you the very, very first mission that we've undertaken to change the law system. Now, you may or may not have heard this story before, but I'll tell it again because it's very, very relevant. You see, the legal system is a demonic creation. And the way that we figured this out was through a particular law that serves them very, very well. As a result of, the new group ICE that Trump set up and the deportation madness that everything's going on. Oh my God, there's so much going on. Well, what they found is that occasionally the parents get deported while the kids are at school. So they've written a law that will allow people to take kids out of school with an A4 sheet of paper and a tick box that says, I attempted to contact the parents, right? I'm not even sure you need proper ID to go and go and claim a child from school. But this is definitely human trafficking dreams come true. And so we were asked to look at this law and what's going on in California where they're trying to install it. Don't actually know if they succeeded or not. But what we found was way more horrible than we would have imagined. That this particular hideous, ridiculous law, clearly not human generated if it wants to separate children and parents, like clearly not a human-based law. Well, when we started looking at it, what we found is that that law is just another rope thrown around humanity. It seems like over, the centuries, like the whole legal system is like a cage that every time they write a new law, they just ratchet things up a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. And what they're confining is your free will. And they're doing a great job of it. Like that structure is huge, well developed, well designed, well built, effective, powerful. Like it's a real problem. But in every instance, it serves demonic interest. You'll see that you're not going to get to the top of the legal system unless you're a Freemason. You see, one of the laws of Freemason, one of the first things they get you to do is to vow to hide the crimes of your Freemasonic brothers, which makes, high-level police and judiciary absolutely critical members of that group. They cannot operate without the law turning a blind eye to what they do. And this also goes for the people who create and draft laws because, it's all part of the same system. Politics, judiciary, the left hand washes the right, and they all look after each other. It's an old boys club. If you're not sure about that, may I reference the Jeffrey Epstein drama? Because they're all protecting each other, because they're all part of a Masonic lodge who vowed to hide the crimes of their Masonic brothers. The problem is that they're all implicated and they're all involved, so we'll never hear anything about it. But that's how severe the penetration of the legal system is by demonic interests and how powerful it is and how much we're told to rely on it. Because If you have ever had contact with the legal system, you do not, you will know that it does not function as advertised. It is not fair. End of story. So strangely enough, our group decided this was a problem that we're going to pick up and solve. And so after our first mission, which was just analyzing and just going, this is a huge project, but well worth our time and effort. What we did was we started to analyze it very, very seriously. And what we saw was a cage that is ever tightening. With every law that gets written, the cage just gets a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller around the earth. It's like a metallic cage. It had these long conduits and these metal ropes and metal bands that all work together in a geometric shape to tighten everything all the time. Every law that's written takes away one more, just little extra bit of freedom. Every law that's written takes away one more tiny piece of your freedom, because that's what the law is designed to do. Don't think of it any other way. But it had these domes, these centers of influence where it was talking about, some were talking about public order, some were talking about traffic crimes, some were talking about sex crimes, some other ones were talking about violent crimes and money crimes. And each of them had their own sphere of, well, legal people working on it, but also the prevailing attitude on how do we handle this, which what we saw is go extra hard on traffic crimes, go extra light on financial crimes. Like, who writes this stuff? Who does this? But that's the world we're in. God fucking bless it. So we started to rip all of this apart. And again and again and again, we found these black cube machines. I'm not sure if you're familiar with black cube, but the black cube is a technology that is specific to limiting the spectrum of human thought. Right? You could have all these opinions, but black cube is limiting them to just this much opinion. And when they do that, that's called mind control or controlling the conversation on a particular topic. And so found tons and tons and tons of that kind of material all through the cage infrastructure, all through the dome infrastructure. Like it's pretty big. We found black pyramids at the top of every dome, which is leaching energy out to an off-world wherever. The only candidate, the the eventual beneficiary who will be the Great Nothing. Watch one of these videos to see more on that. But the one that we chose, the one that we got most involved in was about public order, actually, because if we want a global change in government, the only thing they're afraid of is rioters. And so that sphere of law, which is about public order, well, we needed to demolish and dismantle that so that protests can turn ugly. We specified a few countries that we wanted this to happen in, the UK, the USA, Australia, and Canada, because that we want a similar outcome to what happened in Nepal and in Madagascar as well. We want to be following in that train of events because the idea of a digital ID is too hideous to consider. Yeah. And one of the other big parts of collective consciousness that we took apart was I just have to follow the law no matter what it says. Whereas, actually the law and morality are becoming more and more estranged. So I think that we should, we took that whole thing apart so that only a single digit percentage of the people who originally believed we must believe the law are now following it. And, we can't change that last one because they're just too entrenched. They can only see the world in one way. But, if the people who rule us can't follow the law, why the hell should we? So that's the work we've been doing, and we'll be pushing further and further to emancipate humanity from a legal system written by non-humans. I would love to see one written by humans, but one written by non-humans. No wonder this feels like a world we don't want to live in. No wonder the control freaks are really taking over. Anyway, my love to you all. Stay well and bye for now.